This next footage, shared by the YouTube channel El Otro Mundo Paranormal, was recorded by an 11-year-old girl who began noticing strange movements coming from the lower floor of her home. At first, curiosity urged her closer, but that curiosity quickly gave way to fear. With trembling hands, she grabbed her brand new phone and began recording, calling out frantically for her mother as panic rose with each second. Yet instead of easing her fear, pressing record seemed only to provoke whatever was already there.
Mamá, venga, se está moviendo la silla. Mamá. Mamá, venga. Mamá. Mamá. Mamá.
A nearby chair rocked steadily on its own, as if nudged by an unseen hand. But the moment she began filming, the activity intensified. A small toy car slid eerily across the floor with no one touching it, followed by other objects shifting as if caught in a current of invisible force. The room came alive with movement, chaotic, deliberate, and impossible to dismiss. For a child to witness such things, chairs moving, toys springing to life, and a home turning against her, would be enough to leave lasting scars. What should have been a safe haven revealed itself instead as something far more sinister, a place where she was never truly alone. But hers wasn't the only home where safety turned into fear. In another case, what started as an ordinary, quiet night for a boy named Zach ended with an encounter that left him questioning the very walls around him. In the early hours of the morning, Zach found himself completely alone at home. With his parents away, he had expected a quiet night. Just him, the silence, and the comfort of routine. But the silence he had counted on was deceptive. What had always been a safe, uneventful house was about to reveal a different side of itself. Zach later claimed that several strange occurrences unfolded that night, but only one was captured on camera.
I don't this house anymore. What? No!
Restless in bed, unable to shake the creeping sensation that something was wrong, he reached for his phone and began recording. At first, nothing happened, just the heavy stillness of a sleepless night. But then, without warning, his trash can slid across the floor entirely on its own. The sight froze him in place, and his horrified reaction said more than words ever could. That clip was the last update Zach ever shared. No follow-up, no explanation, just silence, which leaves only questions. Was this the work of a restless spirit, something demonic, or something even darker? Zach's story ends in silence. But for Sophie Clayton, the night unraveled in ways she could not ignore. What began as babysitting in a seemingly ordinary home turned into something far darker, thanks to a house filled with unsettling dolls. According to Sophie, she had been babysitting late one evening at a family's home, a house that carried an unsettling detail hard to ignore. The house was filled with strange dolls, each one standing silently in corners of the room. At first, it seemed harmless. Odd, yes, but nothing that should be immediately threatening. After putting the family's young son to bed, however, Sophie's curiosity got the better of her. She decided to take a closer look at the collection. That's when the atmosphere shifted.
I'm babysitting and I just found the creepiest thing. Look at this. What is that? Oh my god. No, but what is it? It's so creepy. It's freaking me out. Is this real hair? Oh my god. And look.
The dolls were strange in their own right. But could a simple decoration really be enough to send shivers down someone's spine? For Sophie, the answer came sooner than expected.
Guys, I just came in to make dinner, and look what I found. Another one. Oh my gosh. It's a boy this time. Oh my god. Why would you, look at that. Why would anyone have this in their house? Honestly, it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, it has another bell. Oh my god. Guys, guess who I am?
In the background of her recording, a small figure could be seen walking quietly past. But the boy had already been tucked into bed. So what was it? Some viewers believe it might have been him slipping back into the room unnoticed. Others insist the figure looked more like one of the dolls, one that had somehow moved on its own.
The TV just literally turned itself off by itself, and then the lights started going insane. Let me show you. Okay, wait for it, because it was literally just happening a second ago. Max? Better not be out of bed. Okay, I think I'm just gonna get him and go, because it's really freaking me out.
From this moment on, the night unraveled into something far more sinister. The figure never appeared again, but the unease lingered. Was it a ghostly apparition? A haunting tied to the unsettling collection of dolls? Or something darker that remains hidden within that home? Whatever the truth, Sophie's experience left behind a mystery that refuses to be explained.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna get him and go, because it's really freaking me out.
The unease Sophie felt was captured in motion, but sometimes the most haunting moments are frozen in still images. That was the case for one woman documenting an old school, until a shadowy figure appeared where no one should have been. This unsettling picture was shared by Reddit user Red Desert Cowboy. A woman had been documenting the demolition of an old school, capturing the process in a series of photographs. At first, everything seemed ordinary. Walls half torn down, corridors filled with dust and rubble. But when she later reviewed her shots, one image stood out sharply from the rest. There, in the hallway just left of center, a shadowy figure appeared. Tall, dark, and partly hidden in the dim light. The strangest part? According to her, no workers were anywhere near that section at the time. The area had already been cleared out. So who, or what, was standing there? Some believe it could have been a trick of light and dust. Others wonder if it was something more, a lingering presence of a long-gone teacher or principal who never truly left the halls they once walked. But not all hauntings linger quietly in the background. Some strike directly, violently, and without warning. That's what Henry Alvarado discovered when he tried filming something as simple as a tutorial in his kitchen. In this chilling video, Henry was just going about his routine, filming content for his YouTube channel. Determined to grow his audience, he had set out to record a simple tutorial on disinfecting a pan and eliminating bacteria. Everything went smoothly at first, until a small mistake forced him to restart. He laughed it off, clearly frustrated, but ready to try again. What Henry didn't realize was that his second attempt would be interrupted in a way no one could prepare for.
The first thing I'm going to do to ensure the best quality hangover and to kill any nasty little bugs that are in the wine. Oh, you can all stop asking me to upload a video now. What was it? It was this. airlock. Hang on. You're on a tripod, so. What's this? Airlock. What was it? Open this one. Is that it? Do something else now, will ya?
Without warning, an object flew across the room, hurtling straight toward his head. The footage captures the moment in disturbing clarity. This wasn't a faint knock in the distance or a shadow slipping by the corner of the lens. It was violent, direct, and impossible to ignore. Most hauntings rely on subtlety, cold drafts, flickering lights, uneasy sounds. But here, the force behind the attack seemed intent on doing more than frightening him. It wanted to cause harm. The only saving grace was that the object itself wasn't heavy. Had it been, this encounter could. Henry's encounter left him shaken. In this next clip, a family faced something even more personal. For a mother and her young son, the terror began not with objects moving, but with the appearance of an imaginary friend, who might not have been imaginary at all. And that chilling moment was shared by a woman on her TikTok profile, Los Polleonos TV. For some time, her young son had been speaking about his so-called imaginary friend, an unseen companion who, according to him, often appeared in his bedroom. The boy didn't just mention the figure occasionally. He spoke to it as though it were truly there, holding conversations that left his mother increasingly unsettled. Curiosity mixed with concern, and she decided to start filming these moments, hoping to capture something she could show to her family. On this particular day, her son once again insisted his mysterious friend was present in the house. So, she pressed record.
Ay, acabo de escuchar algo muy extraño en la cocina. Ay, no. Vente, estamos solos. Ay, Dios mío.
As she turned toward the kitchen, what the camera revealed was bone-chilling. A dark, shadowy figure resembling a child stood silently in the gloom, staring back at her. The moment was so horrifying that it took her several days to summon the courage to upload the footage online. Now she is convinced her son's imaginary companion might not be imaginary at all, but something far more sinister. Perhaps even a ghostly presence lingering in their home. Whether it was truly paranormal activity or something darker, one can only hope this encounter doesn't spiral into something much worse. That haunting presence inside a family home was terrifying enough. But in Thailand, one hospital recorded something that left even trained professionals too afraid to stay in the room. Instagram user Scary Encounter shared this chilling footage that quickly spread across the internet. Captured on CCTV inside a hospital in Thailand, the video begins innocently enough. A patient lies motionless on a bed, the room silent and still. But then, something unexplainable happens. A shadow-like form appears to rise from the body, drifting upward in a way that feels disturbingly human. What makes the clip even more unsettling is not just the image itself, but the reaction of those who witnessed it. According to reports, the doctors and nurses present were so terrified that they were the first to flee the room. Moments later, they were seen huddled together in prayer, pleading for protection, an extraordinary reaction from trained medical professionals accustomed to emergencies. For some viewers, this was undeniable proof of the soul leaving the body. For others, skepticism prevailed. Was it simply an illusion, a trick of light, or even something as small as an insect passing across the lens? Or was this fleeting moment captured on camera something far more profound? Evidence of a reality we are not meant to understand. Some spirits reveal themselves at the moment of death. Others simply appear, without reason, where they don't belong. That's what this next family discovered one night, when their rooftop seemed to come alive with something watching them. This unsettling encounter took place in Montevideo, Uruguay. A woman named Dari, along with her mother, began to hear strange noises late one night just outside their home. At first, they dismissed it. Perhaps it was just an animal or someone passing by in the dark. But as the sounds continued, the truth became harder to ignore. The noise wasn't coming from the street or the yard. It was coming from above, directly from the roof. Alarmed, they decided to check their security cameras, one of which overlooked the exact spot.
Supuestamente acá tiene que haber algo. ¿Hay algo? Claro, pero ahí no sale, ¿no?
Tendrías que apuntar desde techo a techo, enfrente de él.
Claro, porque ahí no sale. Literal es como si estuviera ahí.
What they discovered sent chills down their spines. In the footage, a shadowy figure could be seen standing perfectly still on the rooftop, as if silently watching them. Yet when they rushed outside to investigate, the roof was empty. No intruder, no trace, nothing at all, as though the figure had never been there in the first place. Many believe that cameras are capable of capturing what the human eye cannot. But what did Dari and her mother witness that night? Was it a ghostly presence, something demonic, or something else entirely? But while some encounters are fleeting, others refuse to end. For Tristan, the presence in his home always found a way to return, until he could no longer deny it. Tristan has been living under the shadow of a haunting for years. No matter what he tries, cleansings, prayers, even sheer denial, the ghostly presence always returns. It lingers in his home like an unwelcome guest, refusing to leave. Each time it makes itself known, Tristan reaches for his phone, desperate to prove that what he endures is not just imagination, but something disturbingly real. One night, when strange noises echoed from his bathroom, he pressed record and slowly turned on the light. What he captured was chilling. The doorknob twisted violently on its own, as if someone trapped inside was clawing for escape. But Tristan knew the truth. He was alone. Summoning his courage, he edged closer. Suddenly, the door creaked open by itself. Behind it lay only an empty room. No intruder. No explanation, just the unsettling reminder that whatever haunted his house was determined to make itself known. The activity did not end there. On another night, Tristan was jolted awake by noises stirring through his home. With fear heavy in his chest, he began recording again, and what unfolded was even harder to dismiss. Without warning, objects in the room began to shift. One item after another moved as though controlled by invisible hands. The atmosphere grew heavy, the air unnaturally cold, and Tristan described a chilling sensation that pierced straight through him. What should have been the safety of his home had become the stage for an undeniable haunting. And with every incident, Tristan was left with the same question. How much longer could he endure sharing his life with something he could neither see nor escape? Have ended in disaster. Shaken but unharmed, Henry has since sought out spiritual guidance, turning to a priest in hopes of finding protection from whatever followed him into that room. Tristan's story was one of persistence, but in this next clip, everything happened in a single terrifying night. What began with flickering lights escalated into something no wiring issue could explain. On the night of September 29, 2015, a YouTube creator known as X-Man Gage uploaded a video that immediately unsettled his viewers. The setting was simple: his kitchen in the middle of the night. Why he chose to begin recording at that exact moment is unclear, but something must have compelled him. And in hindsight, it was the right decision, because what followed would have gone otherwise undocumented. At precisely 1:33 a.m., the atmosphere shifted. At first, the activity might have been written off as nothing more than faulty wiring, the lights flickering sporadically, the kind of thing most would dismiss without a second thought. But then the fixtures themselves began to sway, moving in a way no wiring issue could explain. The unease built slowly until it culminated in a moment that left no room for doubt. An explosive crash tore through the kitchen as objects toppled violently to the floor all at once, the sound echoing like a final confirmation that something unseen was present. This was no technical failure. It was something else. Something that made the safety of a familiar home feel suddenly violated. If X-Man Gage and his family hope to prevent another encounter like this, they may need to consider more than repairs. A cleansing, perhaps, because if the activity returns, it will not be so easily explained away. That same violation of safety struck another couple as well, only this time, it wasn't one night. It was constant. Scratches, shifting sheets, and shadows that refused to let them rest. This chilling case centers on a young couple living in an apartment long rumored by locals to be haunted.
Amor, desde hace rato estoy escuchando que alguien está intentando abrir la puerta. Escucha.
Nos acaban de levantar, estábamos viendo una serie y pues la neta sí está medio fuerte el pedo, escuchan.
Amor.
Amor,
¿Viste eso?
no mames. No mames, ¿qué fue? Amor, se acaba de abrir la puerta. Estoy seguro que se giró.
¿Neta?
Sí. No mames.
No seas mamón.
No mames, amor. Amor, no mames. No mames. No seas mamón. Amor, ¿qué pedo? Está volviendo a pasar. Amor, no mames. Acabamos de grabar la puerta, la acabo de cerrar. Creemos que se va a volver a abrir porque se escuchan ruidos. Literal se acaba de escuchar un ruido. No. No mames. Amor, no mames. No mames.
Their daily lives have been overshadowed by strange disturbances, eerie noises echoing through the halls, unexplained handprints appearing on their bed, and doors creaking open as if moved by unseen hands. Each new event builds upon the last, escalating to a point where fear has become a constant presence in their home. In one recording, the tension peaks. Something beneath the sheets shifts unnaturally, stirring as though alive, only to vanish the instant Batum pulls the covers back. Inside the bathroom, the unease sharpens. A dark, shadowy figure flickers into view, only to dissolve the moment the door is opened. What remains are the same claw-like scratches seen before, etched as though to remind them that something still lingers. The disturbing question remains: what is truly haunting this apartment? And if not something paranormal, then what force could possibly explain the terrors that refuse to let this couple rest? But sometimes, hauntings tie themselves to objects, carrying dark history into new homes. Paranormal investigator Rodolfo Augusto learned firsthand when a doll connected to a tragedy began to stir in his mother's bedroom. Paranormal investigator Rodolfo Augusto was preparing to leave for a new case when an urgent call from his mother stopped him in his tracks. She was terrified. The wardrobe door in her bedroom had begun rattling violently on its own, and even more unsettling, a strange doll had mysteriously vanished.
Ficou desse jeito fazendo esse barulho, Rodolfo.
A porta ficou vibrando?
Ficou vibrando aqui.
Oxi. Porta do guarda-roupa. Você pegou o boneco aqui?
Não, não peguei nada, não nem vi.
This wasn't just any doll. It had been taken from a previous investigation into a home where two young sisters were brutally murdered. Locals had long whispered that the doll would move on its own, and Rodolfo had kept it as evidence.
Vou resolver isso aqui. Minha mochila, com minhas coisas de gravação.
Alarmed, he rushed back home and began searching the property for answers.
Ai, não sei, procura e dá uma olhada por aí, porque tá estranho aquilo ali aqui em casa.
Você escondeu, eu acho que você escondeu de mim. Eu tô achando que você escondeu de mim.
That's when something chilling occurred.
Porque às vezes eu tô achando que você pode estar me trollando.
Não, tô trolando nada não.
Reviewing the footage in slow motion, a shadowed figure could be seen lurking in the corner of the room. It was faint, fleeting, but it was there. Yet when Rodolfo turned to look in person, the space was empty.
Ô mãe, eu juro por Deus que eu vi uma menina sentada ali, mãe.
Convinced the presence was connected to the doll, Rodolfo now fears it carried with it the restless spirit of one of the murdered sisters. His plan was clear: to destroy the object, to burn it before whatever is bound to it can take hold of his home, or of him.
Galera, aqui ó. Não deveria ter trazido ele pra cá, mas eu vou resolver isso aqui.
And while Rodolfo sought answers, another man named Danny found only horror. What started as knocks behind the bathroom wall ended with a figure that should never have been there at all. Danny was going about his day, focused on ordinary chores. when a strange series of knocks began echoing from the bathroom. At first, the sound seemed harmless, something he could easily dismiss as pipes settling or perhaps rodents scratching inside the walls. But curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to investigate, not realizing that this choice would bring him face to face with something he would never forget. As he stepped inside, the knocks grew louder, their rhythm steady and deliberate, as though whatever caused them wanted to be heard. The noise was no longer coming from behind the walls. It was clear now that it was inside the room itself. Unease rising, Danny turned to leave, thinking he would call for help in the morning. But then it happened. From behind the shower curtain, a demonic-looking figure suddenly peeked out, its twisted features flashing into view for only a second. Overcome with sheer terror, Danny cut the recording and bolted from the house. When he later checked his CCTV app, the feed showed nothing at all. The bathroom was empty, silent, undisturbed. No intruder, no creature. Nothing that could explain what he had seen with his own eyes. And yet, deep down, Danny knew the truth. Whatever had revealed itself in that moment was real. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.